Wait, we didn't even do a sound check. Oh.
You were burping for your sound check,
Oh,
Ryan.
sweet. 1, 2, 3.
Take
Ooh.
4.
Wait, 3, 2, 1.
Oh! What's up?
What's up, guys? How you doing? What's up, guys?
Hey, we're so glad you're tuning in today.
Dude, we are becoming really in sync with our What's Up, guys. and
We're
it's
getting
actually
there.
pretty impressive.
Do you know why?
Why?
Because this is our 7th time doing that.
This is the 7th podcast, not the 8th.
Boom.
The 7th. So, hey, we are just going to jump right in. We're going to kind of skip the check-in today, but we're going to jump right in and go into our fan mail.
Yeah.
Thank you guys so much for sending in that mail. We really appreciate it. We are still compiling a little bit of it to release on a certain episode where we're going to open up all the fan mail. But today we wanted to address one letter that we got, and it was actually just a bunch of rapid fire questions that we'll touch on here in a second. But we encourage you guys to keep sending in the fan mail. We want you guys to send in stuff. It could be a drawing of
Ooh, I
Pastor
like
Zach and I. It could be a little ditty that you wrote, maybe like a new jingle for the podcast, and send that in. But if you guys want to send in the mail, the address is
3852 North Eagle Road, Boise, Idaho, 83713. Our goal is to keep the United States Postal Service alive.
That's right.
All right, so send it snail mail to us.
That's right. Yeah, send us that mail. But to jump into it, to address one of the fan mail, the rapid fire questions, we have about 10 of them here that we're just going to go through real quick. The first one is for Pastor Zach. Pastor Zach, what are your go-to ingredients on a sandwich?
Oh, dude, it's literally whatever is in my refrigerator. Pepperoni, chicken, ranch, chipotle sauce, banana peppers, onions, jalapenos, bacon, mayo, mustard, like tri-tip,
Oh,
leftover
dude.
steak. Seriously, whatever is in there, it deserves to be on a sandwich. That's all I'm saying.
That's like a garbage bag sandwich.
Yeah, I
Just
call it
everything you have in there.
Yep,
you
the
throw-
garbage sandwich.
So
Dude, it's
good.
awesome.
The garbage sandwich.
Where were you born, Ryan?
I was actually born in Twin Falls, Idaho. Whoop whoop! And the cool thing is, I mean, I think it's cool. I am a twin, and I was born in Twin Falls. Isn't that cool?
Dude, that's so
Jackson
cool.
loved it. His eyebrows went up. So, next question, Pastor Zach, what is your favorite food?
Simple, chicken fried steak
Chicken fried steak.
with the gravy
I was just about to
Yep.
say with the gravy. Do you like
Tabasco
in Tabasco?
and pepper.
How about mashed potatoes?
No, ew.
You don't like mashed potatoes?
No, moving on. Ryan, who is your best friend besides me and Jackson?
Who's my best friend or my first best friend?
Sorry, your first best friend.
His name is Jordan Thompson. I actually talked about him in a sermon one time. He's the doctor, super smart kid, Jordan Thompson. All right, next question. What is your spirit animal and why?
I'm not really sure what a spirit animal is, but I guess a liger.
Ooh,
I
that's
don't
a
know.
good one. You don't know why?
What?
You don't know why?
No.
Okay.
I don't even know what a spirit animal is. Ryan, I think this question is very fitting for you. How would you describe your fashion sense?
Well, it varies on who you talk to, but McKaylee would probably say lazy, and that's how I admit it. That's how I would describe my fashion sense is just lazy. Yeah,
Nice.
I don't coordinate colors very well.
I like to call it just efficient.
Yeah,
Like I'm not
efficient.
lazy.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm just efficient.
Yeah. Anyway, okay. Next question. What is your go-to fast food order?
Spicy chicken sandwich, Chick-fil-A.
Ooh, that's a good one. With fries?
You know it, man.
Okay.
What's your favorite Netflix show?
Dude, favorite show of all time, The Office. Hands down, will always be my favorite show of all time. Yeah. Prove me wrong.
Good show.
All right. What is your dream job? What was your dream job as a kid?
History teacher.
Okay.
If I wasn't gonna be playing for the Seattle Seahawks, then a football coach. Why are you laughing at that?
No, totally. Yeah.
Or working for my dad's company. Those were kind of like the three things.
What does your dad do?
He's a sheet metal worker. He owns a
Nice.
sheet metal shop
Awesome.
in Seattle. Yeah. Ryan, last question for us today is who's your role model?
I got to go with my dad. He is a pastor, and I've always looked up to him. Even though I didn't always want to be a pastor. He is definitely my role model, especially right now as I'm stepping into ministry, and just somebody I can look up to and model after. So
That's
yeah.
cool. Awesome. Well, thank you for sending in your fan mail today. We want to encourage you to continue to send it in to us. Like
Yeah.
Pastor Ryan said, we're collecting them all right now, and we're going to do an episode where we just read the fan mail. And
Yeah,
so
that'd be awesome.
send it in to us, and it's a fun segment we're looking forward to doing. So.
Yeah. So for today's podcast, our sponsor is Taji Orthopedics. Yeah. If you're wondering why it's Taji Orthopedics, our very own Danny Clark works there, and she was kind enough to grab us these awesome water bottles, and there's a
Ice pack?
ice pack. That's what. Yeah, ice pack in there. Some pins, a little post-it note. You guys, our channel is getting so big that we have doctors now reaching out to us, wanting to sponsor the channel. How cool is that? So big shout out to Taji Orthopedics. If you have any orthopedic need, I don't know really if you have a hurt ankle or something. Taji Orthopedics, they're legit. He's a super, super nice guy too. So
That's
anyway.
cool. Hey, if you have a business, we want to promote you on our podcast. Please reach out to us. And again, if you're into art, last week Joe Shingler made an awesome intro video. It's on here today. Don't fast forward the first 25 seconds because that maybe is the best part of the
was pretty
podcast.
good, yeah.
But we want to encourage you, and we want to promote your business. And so please reach out to us, DM us on the gram, or you can reach out to us at youth@treecitychurch.com. We check that email regularly now. And so please let us know what you're interested in. So today we're taking a turn a little bit. And so we're finishing up our first season in which we're calling COVID-19. The first part of this season, we really talked about how do we point people to Jesus in the midst of a pandemic.
Yeah.
And from there we transitioned into talking about the idea of self-care. You know,
Right.
it's really hard to point other people to Jesus if we aren't practicing daily disciplines of pointing ourselves to Jesus. And I think we're beginning to see the light at the end of the tunnel, so to speak, and where we're pausing and we're reflecting on what have we learned through being quarantined over the last couple months now. And so that's the question we're going to be wrestling with for the next couple of weeks is, what has quarantine taught you? And so I think one of the things that I was reminded of through this whole experience was that the first step in evangelism and pointing our friends to Jesus, it's all about a relationship.
Absolutely.
Right? Like it's not about the building, and we often have it backwards. We just got to invite our friends to church. We got to invite them to the building. No, the first part is about relationship and opening up our hearts and our minds and our lives to invest in people in that way. And through this season, that's one thing that I've really been reminded of.
Right. Yeah, that's a huge one. And I think that's something that we as the church have forgotten because coming to church on a Sunday or Wednesday is so convenient for us that I think that sometimes it becomes an excuse of like, yeah, come to church with me, you know, so we don't have to really do the hard work. I mean, that can be intimidating, but it kind of is, which is, hey, come to church and let them minister, you know, to you instead of us taking that initiative. Another thing that quarantine is teaching us and teaching me especially about the church and how to be a Christ follower in this world is we can stay connected through so many means. We can stay connected through technology, through snail mail, through texting, FaceTime, Zoom. There are so many avenues and ways that we can stay connected with people. I have a very bad habit of not staying connected with people, especially like my family back home. If they live out of state or somewhere that I'm not seeing them all the time, I just have a bad habit of I neglect those people. And so something that this is really teaching me is I really have no excuse. I have no excuse not to stay connected. The world we live in now, there are so many different ways. And it may look different, right? And this is something that COVID-19 has kind of shown us is staying connected looks completely different than what we may perceive it. We think, meeting in life groups, meeting at church, saying hi in the foyer, that's staying connected. But how cool would it be is if after this whole season is over with, we continue to FaceTime people once a week. We continue to have Zoom calls and just hang out and see each other and play games and be the church and be a community and be a family. We always say that we are a family here, but we don't want to be a family that is a family 2 days a week.
Yeah, exactly.
We want to be a family that we stay connected 7 days a week. And so how can we do that? That's something that this quarantine is really teaching me and refocusing my mind on is how can I stay connected better with those I love and care about.
Yeah, I think what I just heard you say, Ryan, is you were reminded of like the church isn't a building, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's the people. It's you and I sent out in mission to point people to Jesus and the importance of relationships and staying connected throughout the week.
Yeah, and we don't need a pandemic to care for our neighbors.
Yeah.
That was one of the first steps we took as a church, specifically as Tree City Church. One of the very first challenges that we offered to you guys was, hey, go to your neighbors, knock on their door, ask them how they're doing, and ask them if they need anything. That does not have to end.
Yeah, it shouldn't end.
Yeah, it shouldn't. Build a relationship with your neighbors. Continue caring for your neighbors through actions such as that, or just simply the way you are living, how you speak to them. Maybe go mow their yard throughout the summer, but continue making efforts to build and maintain relationships with those around you so that they may experience God in a new and a fresh way through our lives.
Yeah, we want to challenge you today with one specific thing, and it has to deal with praying. We want to encourage you to start praying for one person. One thing that I'm really, really excited about is our comeback plan. I don't know if you guys read it yet, but I'd encourage you to go to our website, check it out. If not, here's the condensed version. We are the church. Be the church. That's one thing that I love about our comeback plan is that it's so missional.
Right.
You'll see when you read it that in June 1, I don't know if it's June 1, but the beginning of June, we're going to be launching this house church movement as a way of re-engaging in community once again. And we want to encourage you to be in prayer. Who's one person that you can invite into your life, that you can invite into your home to be the church, because we are the church. And so who is that one person that you can invite? Maybe it's your neighbor, maybe it's a friend, but we really want to encourage you to begin living out this comeback plan as a church. And we want to challenge you, Pastor Ryan and I want to challenge you to set the tone for the rest of the church. Because we believe in you, and we are excited to see what God is going to do through this movement.
Yeah. And again, just because the pandemic is ending and the season is ending doesn't mean that we need to stop doing what we're doing. A lot of the things that we started doing during this time, we started because we wanted them to continue. And so as we end, and then on the podcast, as we end this season of COVID-19, we want to continue on this theme of how are we caring for our neighbors. I think that the gospel, kind of in a nutshell, I mean, we say that a lot, but one of the major themes that we see in the gospel is Jesus caring for his neighbors. And then people wondering like, well, who is my neighbor? The classic question, well, who is my neighbor? How do I care for him? And Jesus just says everybody. And so maybe as we begin, the season starts to end, maybe we start to broaden our view of who our neighbors are, and we start to care for those people as well. And so we just highly encourage you guys, continue or start praying for one person, and then start thinking about ways that you can continue just caring for your neighbors.
I'll never forget one of Pastor Johnny's sermons. It was a sermon series we were on in prayer. And it sounds so elementary, but it's so true. prayer has to be the first thing
Right.
that we do.
Mm-hmm.
And so start praying right now, because I believe that when we start praying for God to show us one person, God is going to show us that person.
Right.
God is going to show us the person that we need to invite
Mm-hmm.
into our life,
Yeah,
into our
absolutely.
home, to share this amazing gospel story
Yeah.
with. And so we want to encourage you, be in prayer for your friends, your neighbors, your loved ones, someone that needs to be rescued. That's the series we find
Yeah.
ourselves in right now. And so we're excited to continue this podcast. As Pastor Ryan just said,
Yeah.
it was our goal to, whatever we start during this season, to make sure we continue throughout. And so just because we're going to be able to start meeting again in a couple months, it doesn't mean that this podcast is going away. Some of you guys might be like, oh, dang. But
all 50 or whatever subscribers, I know you guys are pumped and ready to go.
we're here for good. But we just want to give you a quick update of a couple things that you'll be hearing more information about over the next couple of weeks. We're launching this new challenge to you guys called Tree City Try It. And so
Yeah.
we're really, really excited. Check out our YouTube channel in the next couple of days for a video that we are making that just gives a little bit more explanation to the summer challenge we're doing. So.
Yeah, we kind of hit on it the last podcast, but this is just a time for us to introduce new skills or hobbies to you guys, that in hopes that you might try it for yourselves at Tree City Try It. That's so good. That's such a good title. Yeah. But we don't want you guys to fail. Okay. This is not a fail it segment. This is a try it and nail it segment. Okay. So again, if you do fail, it's kind of on the person who made the video, because they didn't teach it well enough. But we want you guys to kind of broaden your perspectives and your skills and whatnot. Maybe you guys have always wanted to learn how to make coffee. I hear that one of the things might be coffee making.
Boom. It is.
Yeah, I don't know who it's with. Who knows? But this is just a time for you guys to, again, if you're like me and you really don't have a whole lot of skills, this is your time to learn and just have a great time doing it.
We're gonna have a question box on the gram, so make sure you drop us. What are some of the skills? What are the things that you want to learn or that you want to perfect within your own current skill set? And so it's something we're really looking forward to doing this summer. Hey, we want to thank you so much for tuning in today. We want to end by saying this. If you only heard one thing, we hope that you hear this, that there's a God that loves you so, so very much. But not only that, there's a youth staff and a church that loves you as well. Have a great week, and we're praying for you.
See you guys.